I have watched so many Star Wars movies. I just can't keep reviewing at the same pace that I'm watching them. So let's try to get this out of the way. Not that I mean this video is gonna be rushed or anything, but I'm certainly trying to accelerate the process. It's taking me a little while. It's gonna get to a point where I'm just not enthusiastic about doing these reviews because I'm just doing it. But I'm gonna try to take a break if I need to. Which one are we doing today? I had to check the timeline. Solo. It has to be Solo because Rogue One is right before A New Hope. Therefore, Solo has to be before Rogue One, just because it wouldn't make any sense. And I'm pretty sure Solo is like only a few years after, like 4 years later after Revenge of the Sith. I guarantee it. 4 years. That's not counting the flash forward, which jumps it a little bit. Or time skip, not flash forward. Yeah, Revenge of the Sith. So, Solo. Basically, this movie starts out in any complaint people were having before the movie. Let's just say any complaint people had before the movie was coming out was genuinely correct. Like, we don't need to see the Kessel Run. We don't need to know how he got his blaster, which I keep missing that scene, but people keep telling me that it's some guy just hands it to him. So, I don't know. I've watched the movie like 3 times, and I keep missing that scene. So I'm just going to tell you what I heard. I have a tendency to get distracted by something, so I'll be completely transparent there. I missed it. But we don't need to know how he got the Falcon, or we don't need to see him get the Falcon because we already know how he got it. Like, I don't even know how many times it's mentioned in a game of Savat. I don't know. Is it a V or is it a B? I don't know. But yeah, we don't need to see all this stuff because we already know how it happened, or we saw it happen. Personally, I don't care that much. I didn't want to see this stuff, and I didn't want to, and I didn't really care that much about it. I don't care about demystifying something. Like, I'm the kind of person who likes getting answers on stuff. But a throwaway line, like in New Hope, the C-3PO says something about the spice mines of Kessel, and then in the cantina with Obi-Wan and Luke talking to Han and Chewie, he's like, the Millennium Falcon is the one that made the Kessel Run in 13 parsecs, or in 12 parsecs. By the way, this doesn't even make sense. They're talking about speed. So, them explaining that, oh, well, what he meant was that, it makes sense, because what he meant was that the parsecs is he traveled close to a black hole and he avoided it. And I'm like, no. No. He said that this he says, my baby did the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs, less than 12 parsecs. By the way, what the hell does rounding down even mean? Tangent. So he's talking about how he's like, this bad boy did the Kessel Run in under 12 parsecs, and then he's like, I'm sure she'll be fast enough for you, old man. And I'm just like, so you explained the grammatical error, but how does distance relate to speed? That still doesn't make any sense. It's like if I said, okay. So literally this happened. I made a video. It's called Stupid Bus But Not. Or I'm going to... Stupid Bus But Not. And then... So... I made that video. I legit walked 6 miles because I got dropped off at the wrong bus stop. So... I can go out right ahead and say, oh yeah, well I made the Kessel Run in 6 miles. I'm sure I'm fast enough for you. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't equate to speed. I did it pretty slowly. It took literally 3 hours to walk those 6 miles. And I didn't even get to the destination. I didn't even get to it. If you want to be an ass about it, it actually took me a month to get to my destination. Because I just didn't even want to see my destination. I went home all defeated and I was like, nope, try again later. A month later, I got to my destination, but out of sheer coincidence. So, you want to be an ass about it. I didn't even make it to my destination until a month later. That doesn't equate to speed. It took me a month. But yeah, Solo. I think I did some spice. So, basically this movie just chronicles Han Solo before Han Solo. We see him doing this maneuver. I didn't put 2 and 2 together. I've watched reviews of this movie since I watched the movie. To not inform my opinion, but help me know how to speak it out. Sometimes my opinion does change based on those reviews, I will admit. But I don't know how to put the words together. You guys know this is a problem with me. See, I did it again. Sometimes I will just uncontrollably stutter. I will stutter. And so I look at these reviews and be like, yeah, that's what I meant. So I believe they called it the thread the needle technique that Han would use in Empire. Maybe even Return of the Jedi, but really Empire is the only time that the Millennium Falcon did anything interesting. Because if you remember, Empire is the one where the special effects went up, and A New Hope is the one where Han said he was going to do some amazing maneuvers, and then he just went straight. Dude, I'm going to do that in Battlefront. Don't worry, Boba Fett's on our tail. I'm going to get some maneuvers. We got him, boys. Dude, I'm just going to text some guy. I'm going to get, I'm going to text a guy later when I'm playing Battlefront. I'll just go into the game chat and it's like, don't worry, you can't get me. I'm in the Millennium Falcon and I got some crazy maneuvers. And then I'm just going to walk straight. Maybe that guy will give me a pass. Probably won't. Anyways. So, yeah, we find out how Han Solo got his name. It's absolutely retarded. But then Kira, I don't forget. I'm gonna say Kira. So Kira, she gets captured by the Empire. Sort of. She imprisons them, or she gets imprisoned in a prison full of prison-like things. But basically, she's not that interesting a character, and the actress isn't that great in the role, gotta say. The crazy plot hole that was pointed out to me by pitch meetings on Screen Rant. Kira, when she shows back up, Han Solo is talking to Paul Bettany's character, I think that's his name, and he's like, so he's like, this can't be traced back to you because I am not affiliated with you. But then he sends his second-in-command to go along with them. I was like, oh, that's ridiculous. I never thought about it right then because I was just not paying attention for that kind of detail. That made my second viewing of the movie much more like, that doesn't even make sense. There are certain, I don't believe that this was the first draft. I don't believe that they were that lazy. But I think some scenes did not get redrafted. Because anyone with a brain cell would have been after at least the second rewatching, without any outside sources, someone would have been like, that doesn't make any sense. But anyways, basically, this movie is just Han before Solo, and he gets his name because he doesn't have a family, so he doesn't have a last name. So it's like, who are your people? I don't have people. Solo, Han Solo. Get it? But then you have Chewie, who's like a caged monster. But then Han speaks Wookiee and gets them the hell out of there. And then they meet Beckett, Tobias Beckett, and he's an ass, basically, is his character arc. And that was that. I don't know. This movie just isn't filled with a lot of interesting characters. Two of the two interesting characters that this movie introduces that you don't get to see anywhere else are killed off immediately. They get like 20 minutes of screen time. That may seem like a lot, but it isn't. They don't really do anything with it. Like, this one heist goes so terribly wrong that everyone gets killed. Everyone interesting, anyways. You're still left with Tobias Beckett. So, you know. But he's an evil cocknob who turns on everyone else anyways. Basically. He's working for this other group. And then Paul Bettany, he's like the Sith leader. And then there's not some fight scene that ensues. And then he's like, alright, go to Tatooine, I have a score to settle. And so you're like, oh, that's why he was on Tatooine. Or he's like, I have a deal or something. I have a job. And on Tatooine. And he's like, oh, that's why he went to Tatooine. But that can't be right, because I don't know, I guess the Force could have brought Han over to Tatooine, but that just doesn't seem like he's the reason he went to Tatooine. Like, he was a traitor and a cocknob. I just reminded myself of, he was a scoundrel and a traitor. A traitor and a scoundrel from Llamas with Hats. Look that up, it's art. It's on YouTube by Film Cow, I think it was. Oh, Llamas with Hats. Top-notch comedy. If you're into morbid shit, that is. Well, I'm a racist and I like eating hands, so that's two things. Or was it racist? I don't know. They mentioned the whole racist thing, but I don't know if that was in that same sentence. Doesn't tangent. See, tangents. But yeah, and then we have apparently this group that Beckett was working for, I think anyways, I could be wrong, Kira is also working for. I know for a fact Kira's working for them, but I don't know if Beckett ever really was. But Kira's like, well, the Crimson Dawn, by the way, is the group, and Kira's like, well, you know, no biggie, but Beckett killed everyone, and then the leader is revealed, and then you hear his voice, and you're like, oh, and then he stands up, and you're like, oh, and then they show it's Darth Maul, and you're like, oh. But then he ignites his lightsaber, and that's just weird. Why is he doing that? I thought that was weird on my first viewing, but that was also in the pitch meeting video, so. But yeah, I did this movie horrible amounts of injustice. Go somewhere else if you want a professional opinion. But I really like this movie. I think it was kind of pointless, but then again, really any of these spin-offs are pointless. Are they going to ever add anything to the universe, or are they just going to keep explaining things that already exist? Really, you don't have to think about it if it's... Don't think about it as pointless, just think about it as fun. And this movie certainly was. People didn't like it, but I loved it. Give it an 8 out of 10. Now I'm going to go watch Return of the Jedi, because I've already watched everything else before that, except for the cartoons, which I'm still working on. So, yeah. Pretty soon, though, I'm going to get that Clone Wars Volume 2 review. So, there we go. And then I'll work on Rogue One. By the way, there's no particular order. The Clone Wars Volume 2, where I'm at anyways, doesn't have Saw Gerrera, even though he was a Jedi in the Clone Wars. So, that'll be interesting. But, Also, how come he never does any Jedi stuff after that? The dude was a Jedi, and then he just dies because he's like, I am tired of running. Leave without me. And there's enough room on the ship, and he's like, I want to die! That was basically his character arc in Rogue One. Went from a guy who didn't want to die to a guy who wanted to die. So there you go. Rogue One I don't think is as good as Solo. It tries to be something else, and towards the end it's really good. At the beginning it's just like, Still a good movie. Still enjoyable bits in between the good stuff, but it's like... It's like Arrow Season 3 versus Season 4. It's not bad, but there's better.